Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and today I know I've already mentioned I'm going to have a gameplay channel just so I can have the place that shows some actual gameplay on it. I'll still have uh, certain videos here that require uh, the history or the science tied to um, games. But I wanted to have a gameplay channel. And like I said, I've already introduced that. I am trying to get a little round of videos set up on it. I'll be able to do the newer systems, your systems like I've got the Wii U, the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4, the GameCube. I've got the original Xbox sitting somewhere I have to get so I can connect. I've even got my N64 up and running. Yesterday, I received a new item which I still have to get running, see if it works properly or not, but that's right, an old school Atari. I so hope this thing still works, but looks like I'm going to need an F adapter. Um, to get it running, which will be wonderful if I can get it working properly. I've got 12 games with it. In there, I have Crystal Castles, Combat, Super Breakout, Hold Position, Space Invaders. I can't wait to play this. This is going to be one I really, really want to play again. I know there's emulators, but for me, it's nothing like playing the genuine system. Donkey Kong for the Atari. Uh, Bowling, Galaxian, Football, Miss Pac-Man, Centipede, and Vanguard. I'll be so happy if I can get this thing to work. But it looks like I'm going to need an F adapter because right now all it has is um, the old Gemini switch with the single prong connection for the VHF, which I don't think it works with my TV. I have like a 2000 and I forget what year, but it's a Sony, and it still works pretty good. It's not old. I think I got it in 2008. So I mean, it's 11-year-old, but it still works wonderfully. But it's at that point where it don't have the adapters for the Atari 2600. So there's a lot of work I'm going to need to do, and after doing some research online, I'm probably going to have to get an F adapter so I can get it to work coaxially. Um, but like I said, I also have my N64, which I know it works. I just have to see if I can get it to work on a capture card. Um, I also have, as I said, I have the old original Xbox somewhere, which I don't have many games for it, but maybe I can find something. I know I have the console version of Oblivion, I think it is. Yeah, I think it's Oblivion. Um, I also have, I think, Fable for the original Xbox. Rest of them are old sports games that I wouldn't want to play on it anymore because they're just so out of style. Um, I also have PlayStation 3 and a PlayStation 4. Um, the PlayStation 3 is one of the original Fat Boys that can actually play PlayStation 1 games, which I do have a few PlayStation 1 games left. The original Resident Evil and Paradise Eve. Parasite Eve, that's it. That's the name of it. I was trying to think of it. I have like an old WCW wrestling game from the 90s that I could actually play on it. Nitro, I believe it is. Um, I have my GameCube. It works. It also has a adapter on it where I can play Game Boy Advance games. So I can also play Game Boy Advance games on my GameCube, which I love. I love. I only have two games for my GameCube besides the Game Boy Advance adapter, which honestly, it's all I feel I really need. I've got two Legend of Zelda games, The Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, I believe. Yeah, Twilight Princess. And then, of course, I have the Wii U, which I can play Wii and Wii U games. The few games I've downloaded on the Virtual Console. And I've also got my 3DS and this, a PlayStation Vita, which I only have Dragon's Crown and Assassin's Creed Liberation as far as games that I've bought for it, although I've also got downloaded to it Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. which I plan to try to get games like Freedom Unite and games from my 3DS and record them. I don't have, you can't use a capture card as unless it's built into the 3DS or something. But I do have a Sony Handycam that I will be using to try to capture the footage. Um, it's just going to be difficult because one, always trying to play the game with your hands while not, trying to show your thumbs or anything too much, And then number two, my Handycam's so old it needs a new battery pack. It works as long as you keep it plugged up, but my little the plug slips out very easily out of the camera. So you have to kind of be careful when using it. So that you don't accidentally knock the plug out. Because if you do, it reverts, it loses everything you've captured. So that will be kind of a pain. Kind of a pain. Not sponsored by Wendy's, just have the cup to drink from. But I just wanted to give you all an update on what the gameplay channel will be like, what games I'll have. I'll not be looking to make a profit because I don't want to have that issue with so many game companies where they're like, we don't want you playing our game on um, on your channel, because I know with a lot of Japanese companies, Nintendo and Capcom and so on, they really don't like gameplay, especially for trying to profit from it. So I just want to try to have gameplay, no profit for the channel, because this honestly is going to be my regular channel where I do everything else, like study games for history or science, look at actual history, some political, as if you haven't noticed already, I have, and so on. It's kind of an everything channel, this one is, but the new one will just be gameplay. And that will be Alan OGM Plays, I believe is going to be the name of it. I think that's what I've signed up its address as. But, anyway. Yeah, I kind of wanted to update you a little more on that and let you know about the Atari. I know most of y'all probably don't really care about that, but I like these old school consoles. Like I said, I've got my N64 in there working. I only don't have a NES and Super Nintendo. because my NES stopped working after so long, and then I gave away my Super Nintendo. When I was younger. But yeah, I've played most consoles. I've played Atari when I was real young, when Nintendo still wasn't out yet in the US. I played the Atari when I was just a young thing. I mean, it's pretty simple, controller and button. That's the type I have in there, but I also have the paddle controls. But that'll be fun. If I can get the thing working. Let's see. I played, like I said, I owned an original Nintendo and played it. I had an owned SNES, played it. I had a friend who owned a Sega Genesis, and so I played it a few times. Not many. Um, I've got my N64 in there still. It works. I had a PlayStation 1 when one of the original Fat Boys. It's since fell to pieces. But I have a GameCube in there. It still works. I purchased a PlayStation 2, but I gave it away. There wasn't much I wanted to play. Just didn't care for the PlayStation 2. I bought an original Xbox One. I've still got it. We're going to see if it still works and bring it up here. I had a Xbox 360, but I sold it well, my original Xbox 360 died. Red ring to death. I gave it to a friend who was working on it, and he got it working again. So he's got it, playing with it and stuff. But I ended up buying a newer one later that was sleeker. But I sold it and all the games I had for the 360 to get a PlayStation 4. But I'd also purchased beforehand a PlayStation 3 about when I had the Xbox 360. And it's, like I said, it's one of the Fat Boys that plays PlayStation 1 games before they nerfed the later models. This one still plays PlayStation 1, which I love. I love that it still plays the original PlayStation games. So it at least has some level of backwards compatibility. As I said, though, I also have a Nintendo Switch, which can play, well, not the Switch, but not the Switch, sorry. Not the Wii, but the Wii U. I don't know why I said I have a Switch. I don't have a Switch yet. I have a Wii U, which plays Wii games and Wii U games. I just don't know where my controllers went for it, so I have to get them out and get them working again. I have Skyward Sword for it. I have Metroid Other M. I have Mario 3D, Super Mario 3D. I have New Super Mario Brothers. I have a few games for it, and like I said, I also have games downloaded to the Virtual Console. But finally, I also have a PlayStation 4. Like I said, I sold the 360 to get the PlayStation 4. It's the only ever console I've ever sold to get a new one. But I just didn't have money at the time. I don't like to sell my consoles. Because now it's like, I like being able to go back and play them. I kind of wish I hadn't gave my SNES away, but I was 12, 13, something like that. Maybe 14. I know I had my N64 at that point. So I just gave my SNES away. Which really saddened me. I still have a couple games and stuff for it, which I seem to have forgot all about. I still have Link to the Past, which is compatible with the SNES. It's the SNES version. I have the cartridge for it as well as the actual box, which I'm like, okay, cool. But I also have Link to the Past now that I've got the adapter that plays Game Boy Advance games on my GameCube, and Link to the Past on the Wii U Virtual Console. So I can play it several ways. But I have no Xbox One. Honestly, I saw no real reason. It would have been nice to play Killer Instinct again. Remember playing it when I was younger. It was actually a fun game, but I wasn't going to purchase an Xbox One just for that. And I don't have a Switch, Nintendo Switch, yet. I want to get a hold of a Nintendo Switch, be able to play it. But, just giving you an update on the games that we could see there. Other things I'm working on. I do a lot of classic gaming, retro gaming, because really that's my era. Atari, NES, Super Nintendo. Never had a Game Boy. One of the original Game Boys. Like I said, I had a Game Boy Advance, and I've got the adapter where I can play it on my GameCube, so I can do that. But I've never had the Game Boy games in the Game Boy. But maybe I can get a hold of some other old school consoles. I saw online where somebody was selling their Sega Dreamcast for $20 nearby, so I was like, ooh, Sega Dreamcast, nice. it's usually hard to find um, good collections of games and gaming consoles in an area like this because there's just so little around. You have to travel a good 50 miles or so out of your way, usually to the next state where there's a bit more of a populous area to where you can even get anything. That's, a lot of the time, that's where you have to go to the doctor. And unfortunately, that's where it's looking like a lot of places are the only places that are going to be able to do surgery. They took it away from one of the local hospitals here. A hospital that's been here for years. I believe I was even born at that hospital. I believe that was the one I was actually born at. And they took surgery out without telling anybody and just recently announced, oh yeah, we're no longer going to have surgery at that place. So yeah, this place is just falling apart. There's nothing here, so let alone trying to find something to relax yourself. But anyway, I have all those systems. I'm going to try to have some of a multitude of games on them. Like I said, it'll be a very retro-based channel because it's just kind of what I grew up with and the games I have. I'll have some newer games, some newer system games going on. Fallout 76 I've got for my PS4. I've also got Monster Hunter World, and I've got a few, quite a few games actually for the uh, PlayStation 4. So there'll be a few newer games. But other than that, it'll be very retro. If you don't like retro, I'm sorry. It's what I like. It's who I am. But anyway, until next time, educate thyself. Think, read, study, and learn. I've been trying to study how to hook this up, and it looks like I need an F adapter. It's always good to have knowledge. Don't take everything in as the exact truth, because I see so many people spreading these falsehood channels. Climate change don't exist, or vaccines cause autism, or, I'm like, no, people, no. We can learn a lot from those places, but you shouldn't believe their information is correct. But you can, historically, we can learn a lot. This is who the corporations have paid to make it seem like climate change isn't happening. This is who, certain groups pay to make it seem like vaccines cause autism. But if you actually do studies, find consensus, you'll usually come out with what truth is if you aren't trying to just look with what you want to hear. But yeah. But anyway, I'll see you all in the next video. But until then, later.